So apparently there is going to be a Hellblade 3. The greenlit of the sequel for Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2 seems to have been leaked or, just confirmed at this point. I would say because this was a trilogy, a saga, it does make sense for Microsoft to just greenlit the third one. Look, you guys know I read the comments. Some of you ain't happy with my thoughts and my impressions on Hellblade 2, which is funny enough because I never really said anything hugely negative about the game. I was just giving you my opinion. There are certain aspects of Hellblade 2 I liked and certain things I didn't like. Because Microsoft and Xbox shut down those 4 studios, they shut down Tango Studio, they shut down Austin, they merged the studio, and they shut down a mobile division that made mobile games. A lot of people, rightfully so, I do think it's a little bit of fear mongering, but the first thing they're going to thinking of is, does this mean that we're not going to get another game by Ninja Theory? If this game doesn't do well, does that mean that their success, no matter what they do, is going to get shut down? Well, apparently, according to Windows Central, that sequel has already been greenlit. And it does make sense. Like I said, it's a trilogy. You could say what you want about the quality of Hellblade 2 in terms of combat, in terms of some of the aspects and decisions they made with the story. But I don't think anyone here can argue that it's not a quality game. It's just there's certain aspects of Hellblade 2 that probably should have been more looked at with a fine tooth comb. Look, at the end of the day, I think this is perfect. Not every game got to play like an Uncharted, like a God of War, like a Horizon Zero Dawn. It's okay for games like Hellblade to exist because it gives a more of an aspect to a game and gives more different forms of things that we can play. One thing that we got to really start being better on is not encouraging more variety of gameplay. I do feel like the industry is getting pretty bad on this, where they want everything to play like one style game. Gamers are this way too. If you go and you look at like hardcore PlayStation gamers, they want everything to be third-person action adventure game. Instead of seeing a game that's first-person and say, you know what, there's plenty of third-person games. It's okay to have some first-person games as well. Not everyone wants a third-person action adventure game. I do think Microsoft needs to do better at these formats of games, but it's okay to have, more of a walking simulator with some combat in, like a Hellblade, as long as there's games like Gears, potentially Fable to, give you more of an aspect of the third-person over-the-shoulder fighting more centered around that. I think it's perfectly fine. I do think that it is weird how the industry is handling Hellblade 2. I saw some people that were giving the original Hellblade like a 4 out of like a 9 out of 10, and then they're giving Hellblade 2 like a 4 or 5 out of 10. I think it's a 5 out of 10 or even a 6 out of 10. If you're giving the original Hellblade a 9 out of 10, I just don't understand, like, logically to me. And maybe it's just me. Maybe you guys put in the comment section below if you guys can think of a reason why you would feel so negative about the original one. Because at the end of the day, it's just more of the original game. I wasn't the biggest fan of the original Hellblade. I didn't mind it. I just played it not too long ago. But when I went into Hellblade 2, I did expect them to evolve the formula. They took that existing formula, they evolved some aspects of it. They made the foundation stronger. They put pretty windows in it. They did improve the formula to a degree, but it wasn't the way I wanted it to. I felt like Hellblade's always been a looker, and we knew Hellblade was going to be a looker. We wanted more of a combat-centric, a little bit evolving in there, maybe a skill tree, but that's just not the game Hellblade is. And I do think us as consumers and gamers need to understand that just because we don't vibe with something doesn't mean that the people that do vibe with that game shouldn't have that experience. I'm just as much guilty as you guys are. I look at something like Hellblade and I see, this is a fun experience, but it's not something that ideally I would want to play. I enjoyed it, But I do understand when people look at it and says, we want something a little bit more action paced. And that's perfectly understandable, perfectly reasonable criticism. You know, when we saw these 4 studios shut down, I think the biggest concern that people are having is whether or not Microsoft was going to continue to give people creative freedom. I'm kind of curious where they do with this next, Hellblade. I want to see if they really evolve on that formula. If they really take that formula and they build on the campaign and make it to where, there's good combat. What is something that you guys want? What's something that the gamers want? I'm curious how many people in my comment section or that's watching the video in general played Hellblade 2. And if you could give them any type of criticism, what would it be? Because it clearly looks like a Hellblade 3 is coming. Now, obviously, Aaron Greenberg in the past, he came out with something like Hi-Fi Rush and said it made all their internal expectations. But unfortunately, when it went through the green lighting, process, it was never greenlit and the studio was shut down. If it is true and Windows Central is talking about this game being greenlit already, then I think it would be safe to say that Hellblade 3 is coming out. And I want you guys' opinion on what would you have fixed. When it comes to Hellblade 3 to me, I just want more of a, refocus on some of the story aspects. And I want a refocus on the gameplay. Even if they have to sacrifice a little bit of the graphic, the graphics. And, that's another question I want you guys to eat. Would you sacrifice some of the graphics of Hellblade 3 to have a more in-depth combat system? Or maybe not in-depth, just way more in-depth than that is currently there. Very curious to hear your guys' opinion on that. We're all gamers, and I think we, as a consumer base, need to do better on giving criticism to stuff. Is it that the game wasn't catered to us, or is it because we just don't want to play it? I think that is clearly a question that we all need to have. Me personally, Hellblade 2, we'll see what Hellblade 3 happens. I don't expect that to be anytime soon. But anyway, tell me what you guys feel in the comment section below. I'm very curious your guys' opinion on this. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button. It's appreciated. We pretty regularly post on this channel. Now, I know it's here the past couple weeks has been kind of up and down. I do have a video that I want to make tomorrow, so I'm very curious your guys' opinion on that. Definitely hit the sub button if you guys want to stick around for that tomorrow. And you could always follow me on Twitter, Lord Addict ILP. You could always follow me on my streaming channel, Addict Arena. I'll be streaming. I want to stream Pokemon. I'm going to be streaming 33 Immortal. So definitely in the comment section below, all that will be down there. And one thing I want to appreciate everyone for giving me all the support you guys give me. It's always appreciated. You guys show up, and I appreciate it. We're going to, we're going to do big things with this channel. I have a lot of plans. But anyway, without any further ado, you guys have a good one. Peace. Whew. Hellblade has really done some stuff, man.